Welcome back to Truck and Talk, the podcast that gives you an inside look at the team keeping Mesilla Valley transportation moving from the road to the shop and everywhere in between. I'm Stephanie Valle, and today we're sitting down with one of the key people who serves as a direct lifeline and partner to our drivers. Joining me is Kenneth Rodriguez, the fleet manager at Mesilla Valley Transportation. Kenneth, who is also known as a driver manager, plays a major role in our driver success, and he manages a division of drivers focusing on ensuring they are supported, have their loads planned, get home on time, and that our customers' freight is delivered safely and on schedule. Kenneth, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, before we jump into our main conversation, we're going to take a quick detour for our Fuel for Thought. It's a little segment that we like to do where we bring a bit of what's happening in the trucking world to the table, and then we get our guest's perspective on it. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So our first question is about the home time challenge. Driver home time continues to be the number one factor in retention. So from your perspective, Ken, how does MVT's operational team, planners, customer service, and fleet managers work together to balance getting drivers home while also meeting those tough customer demands?
Yes, ma'am. Great question. So that's obviously a little harder than it sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the key to that is just a communication with your driver, and caring for the driver, caring for what you do behind the scenes and making sure that your outcome is what needs to be done and that, we keep our word to our drivers. They make a very big sacrifice being out on the road, being away from their family, being out on holidays. So your word and your good practice and your good work to them is what really, really matters. So it's really, really a team effort about following up. That's one of my main roles and my main things that I've been able to succeed with my drivers is to follow up with them. In a perfect world, everything works, everything goes as planned, but obviously we don't live in one. So just knowing how to subtract, add, multiply, and do those types of things is really, really key on keeping your word and helping your driver, get home when they need to, because male or female, we all have families outside of work. So that's one of the main things that we really thrive to keep our word and our love and our promise to our drivers and ensure that they're there when they need to be home.
Okay, great. The human element in a tech-driven world is our next topic. So we hear a lot about new logistics technology, route optimization, and AI. In your role, how important is that human element, that direct personal relationship between you and your drivers in making the whole system actually work?
I'm an 80s baby, so I'm really, really old school. I love old school things. I love older way of practicing things and doing things. But, AI is going to obviously take over a lot of things nowadays, and it has, and I see that. But just a human element behind that, having somebody that they could talk to. If you have a bill and you want to get that squared away, you're calling your phone and you have that tech. Oh, I'm not a fan of that.
Mm.
So I don't expect my drivers at this point of time in where we're stand to have to do that. They should be able to talk to somebody that can empathize with them, hear them out. They're having a bad day or something like that. Just being able to communicate with them and hear them out and just do what you have to do so that they know that you're there and they have a live person. That's always been one of my goals and my main focus with my drivers.
Okay. I'm an 80s baby too, but I would never say I'm really, really old school because that makes me feel really, really old. So,
Well, you look great. So yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
well, let's get into our interview now, Kenneth. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got into fleet management and also what brought you to MVT?
Okay. So I started out as a lumper, offloading the trailers manually in there, a little hot in there back, just doing what I had to do. I went to the warehouse working and I basically worked my way up, you know, and I started taking key positions that helped my journey into MPT become my reality. So I applied for as an ECT person, as we call it, an extended coverage team. And I did that for a couple months. And nicely, my supervisors noticed my dedication and that I wanted to be there. That's a good thing about MVT is that you show that you want to be there. There's a million opportunities that they'll open up for you. So that was one of my main focuses is just to try hard and show hard. And luckily enough, I was blessed with a position, they moved me from the night to a daytime position. And ever since then, I just took that position. I ran with it. So here we are now.
Okay, so let's clear this up for our listeners. What does a fleet manager or a driver manager actually do day to day?
Okay, so there's plenty of ways to start out with your day. Okay, first thing when I go in, I make sure that all my loads and all my people are in the right places. Everyone was where they should be and needs to be. You track all your late loads, you start kind of putting out little tiny fires. We all have a great family orientation there at work. So everybody communicates very great. Touch base with my night guys. They give me a pass down like, hey, Ken, look out for this truck. This truck got stuck. This truck may have broken down. They're having this issues. So immediately I address those key issues just to make sure that the flow goes right. So start taking care of that. Start looking at my projection, see what I have to do, see who needs to be where, see what else needs to be done. So it's just putting pieces of a puzzle together. It's a fun thing to do. It could be very, very stressful as everyday life is, but once you grasp of what you're doing and you know how to do it, it just comes as second nature to myself and to a lot of our other great fleet managers there at Masia.
So, how many people, drivers, are you overseeing yourself?
So myself, my fleet is about 50 trucks. Okay, so that's probably a little over about 100 employees because not every truck is a solo. A lot of those team trucks on our lane are meant to design as teams. So I got over about 50 trucks. And then also to our group is about 150 trucks total. So we're one of the main big fleets there of Masia, the big monster, the big bad boys there in Masia. So yeah, it's a lot going on with our fleet.
Yeah, a lot of pieces, like you said. Wow. So MBT's model relies on teamwork. So can you walk us through how the three core teams, which is customer service, planners, and fleet managers like you, coordinate to make sure that the operation runs smoothly?
So great question again. Our customer service is one of the main key roles in my point. They're our baseline, right? So they're the ones that tell us what needs to be done, where they need it, how they need it. So we do that. And then we have our great planning team that are overseeing all that requirements and all that. And the communication is always has to be key because if one little piece doesn't fit to your puzzle, then you have a lot of other pieces that don't match up. So just touching base and having a great relationship with your customer service, your planners, your fleet management team, that has a lot to do with the big puzzle at the end of the day. So it's a lot of moving pieces, but it all gets done there at MBT.
And you're part of the driver support team as well. So what is the most common challenge that your drivers face on the road, and how do you support them through it?
Common challenges, just unforeseen occurrences, obviously traffic, shippers that say that they're open, just bad information, which it's a real world, right? Our team's great. I love everybody there, but just everyday little problems can kind of add up. So just understanding where you're at and where your driver needs to be and how you're going to get them there is one of the key things you just kind of open your mind up to and just let it come naturally to you. And if you don't know, you just kind of ask, and there's always support for customer service and our planners. So
In your day to day, how do you balance operational efficiency, like making sure that freight is moving, with your main priority of making sure that drivers are supported and also satisfied?
communication, if you're emailing somebody within your team, you're asking a question and everybody's tied up, you're not getting the answer, make it a point to get up and politely go ask them, hey, you know what, you got an answer on me on this? I like to be a mover, a mover. I just have to be the guide. Maybe a little too much sometimes, but kind of in control. But at the end of the day, it's because I generally care about what I do, what I care for my people, I care for my team. So just going over there and hey, politely, hey, did you get this email? Because sometimes we get a little back sidetracked and an hour can go by, and that's an hour of your driver's time that his time is money. He could have been 60 miles down the road on that one. So just being that guy that, what, let's fix this, let's make this right. So that's one of my key roles that I try to abide by.
Yeah, sounds like an advocate, like you're an advocate for
I
them
try,
as
yes,
well.
ma'am.
Yeah. So, what is the connection between operational efficiency and driver experience, and how do those two things support each other?
Driver experience is always great, but what needs to be done and what has to be done, in my opinion, are two different things. So if your driver is not up to par with moving with the company, then you might have a little bit of a little hiccup like that. So as long as your driver's on board with you and they understand key what needs to be done, the efficiency and the driver experience will go hand in hand.
Okay. You have to manage a lot of moving pieces. You've been saying that a lot of puzzle pieces. So, how do you use data like a driver's hours of service, their home time needs, and customer delivery windows to plan their week successfully?
MBT has a bunch of great tools. We're provided with a bunch of different systems that are very efficient. So again, the attention is always key. Obviously we have a lot of things going on, and if you see a load that looks good, it might not be the best fit for that driver. So paying attention to the hours of service, knowing who has to be when and where and what, keeping yourself scheduled, that's always a great thing to have. So tools are a main part of our life there at MBT.
And you talk a lot about this. You've been talking a lot about it, about getting drivers home on time, and that's a huge part of your job. So, what are the challenges in making that happen, and how does it feel when you successfully get a driver home?
I'm gonna answer the last part first.
Okay.
Getting the driver home on time is just what I'm there for. You did your job. Our company kept its word. That is just the main thing we it's like it's our it's on the back of our shirts, almost to that point. So knowing your driver personally is always going to be the best thing to help because you get to know who their likes, who their dislikes are. And once you kind of know they're more than just a number or just a driver's name, at Messia, we know our drivers personally.
Mhm.
So therefore, the interaction always goes a little smoother when you have that much more information about somebody personally.
And I'm sure that also helps them, if they know that you're advocating for them, you're
Mhm.
trying to get them home, that they're more likely to tell you if they have something that's coming up that's outside of the holidays. That
Yes.
way, they need to be there for like a baseball game or for
Yes.
their kid or something like that, right?
That's always great to know. So knowing in advance, it always helps you to prepare a little more, a little easier, and make stuff happen. But obviously, my thing that I tell my drivers is I understand there's life outside of work. It's a great company. We need to be profitable. But at the same time, too, there's life outside of work. And I've always kind of held that with my drivers. You have something come up, it's your mom's birthday and you want to take her out to eat. Let's make it happen. Let's make your mom happy, makes you happy, makes me happy, and it's overall company happiness.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk about crisis, though. A driver calls you, they are delayed at a customer, and it's threatening their home time. So tell us about the steps that you take.
The truth. Let them know I'm going to do everything I can to help you out. I've built a rapport personally with my fleet, my drivers, to where they trust me. Trust and openness and reality. Let them know I can't promise you this, but I'm going to do this for you. And a lot of drivers have taken that in. They've really absorbed that about myself and a lot of my coworkers and all that stuff too. So just openness, in a perfect world, yes, but I wish we were there, but we're not. So we're here. So just openness, truth, accountability, I'm going to do everything I can. Like you said, advocate for you. A lot of drivers absorb that.
And even if, say, something maybe doesn't necessarily work out, do you feel like the outcome is still okay because they know that you were upfront and truthful with them?
Personally, I feel horrible because I care that much and we all care. But same time too, just there's gonna be some compensation potentially because you laid over, there was no load for you, it wasn't ready, it got canceled. So everybody needs to be compensated for their time. And Messia is very, very honorable about taking care of that because we all have families and stuff to pay.
Yeah.
So yes, ma'am.
Of course. So your role is about more than just loads, as you've been saying, it's about people. So how do you make sure that your drivers feel heard when they report any issue, whether it's a problem with a load or a pay question or even a personal concern?
Sure. So I've always kept an open door policy with my drivers. The good thing about Messia is that I've worked with other companies to where they have their fleet managers just their office personnel locked in a room where you can only get in. Messia is great about that. I've always appreciated about that to where somebody can come in. Obviously, errors happen,
Mhm.
and come to me. I'll do everything I can in my ability to take care of it. If I don't know, I'll find out for you. And also too, my supporting team, my supervisors are very, very wonderful and taking care of us and taking care of our drivers, firstly. So anything that needs to be done, a couple emails, a couple approvals, and the driver will be happy and they get paid on the next pay cycle, or sometimes it gets expedited and then, they get paid, a day or two later. So that's a good thing is that we take care of our people.
So at MBT, there's a lot of talk about family. And how does your team help keep that family culture alive for the drivers out on the road?
What's great about that is I've always appreciated about Mr. Royal Jones, seeing him, he walks in there with a smile and just seeing him personally go up to you and shake your hand. So it's like the teacher teaching us, you know, so that trickles down, just asking somebody, how's your day today? What's wrong? Are you okay? Whether it's about work or not. So, I like that when my family takes care of me. So that's why I try to be pro with people and just make sure I'm giving that back to who I'm responsible for.
So, what does driver first fleet management mean to you personally?
They're the ones that pay everybody's bills out there. We got to realize that without a driver's compassion, without their hard work, I wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't be sitting here right now. So just realizing is taking a step back and realize what they do for us. Sometimes, personally, I'll feel bad for somebody going through something, and I'll get out the phone call and kind of take my step back and be like, when somebody's out there 2,000 miles away and they have a little bit of hardship, but they're still there trucking hard and still getting the job done and making sure our customers are, put first. So that just motivates me. That's my fuel. That's my fire.
Yeah. Is there a story in particular that you think of when you think about driver first fleet management? Like an example that you have?
So many things are running through my head, but I've had some drivers in reality miss some important events that nobody could control. But the fact that they were professional about it, they understood, they didn't get upset. Maybe personally they were upset, but they didn't raise their voice. They didn't say anything that shouldn't be said. Somebody that can just understand and know, we live in a different generation nowadays, and I respect everybody, but just we live with a different type of people, this world. And we have so many personalities we deal with. Some of these drivers aren't even from El Paso, they're from all over the United States. So it's a lot of different factors, a lot of gumballs in the machine. You don't know which one you're going to put in your nickel and get. So just being able to, you know, unconfrontational people that understand, I appreciate that so much. And that just motivates me to drive even harder for them.
Yeah, I really like your analogy there of the gumball machine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So MVT continues to grow, adding regional and dedicated routes across the US. How does your team adapt to that expansion to ensure that drivers still get that personal support?
There's a lot of driver management training. Lately, it's always been there, but lately it's just been a little more. Let's get this, guys. You guys have to complete these courses by that time. So it's just reminding everybody what they're there for. And, a lot of those tools that I said Macia's always provided, some of that stuff, it gets a little tight because we have a lot of responsibilities in a 10, 12-hour day. But the fact that they're like, these tools are here to help you open your eyes, open your mind, and I've seen a lot of that help me grow a little more, seeing things that I never ever would have saw. And I've been doing this for about 20 years logistically. So I appreciate the help and the tools that they provide for us.
Hmm. So, what is your vision for the future of fleet management at MBT?
That's a great question. What's great is that, not to bring up old things, but when COVID happened, a lot of the mom and pop trucking companies, they slowed down. Macia has always been a great big player in the game to where we can support what needs to be done. So all I want to see is that everybody's succeeding. I want this company to grow even more, maybe a couple more terminals all around the United States, more than what we have, more sessions like this with a lot of our Intel people in the office. Man, it's just it's nonstop. The sky's the limit with Macia. So I just want to see us grow and just take off with the rocket.
So, for someone who's considering joining MBT as a driver, what would you say makes this company stand out from their perspective?
Our focus on the driver. As I mentioned earlier, I worked for smaller companies and it's just not there. You know, Mr. Royal has been great to all of us. He's blessed us a lot. His family has always been great to us. So just come on down, give us a shot, give us a try, and we'll guarantee that we will impress you and take care of you.
So, going back to your own personal life here, you've built an impressive career in fleet management. So, what inspired you to choose this path?
I care for people. I like to do things right. I'm not going to say impress, but I like to make people happy and proud that I'm under them or I'm managing them because I'm such a people person. So I get satisfaction of making people smile, making people feel comfortable, and helping people buy nice things.
So, what is one lesson that you've learned in this role that's helped shape how you lead today?
Have patience. Patience is a virtue. A lot of that has helped me in my personal life. Slow down, calm down, do one thing at a time. And if you can't do it today, you can fix it tomorrow. So it's taught me a lot personally and professionally.
And so, when you're not focused on drivers and load plans, what do you enjoy doing outside of work?
Oh, I'm a gym rat. I don't like that term, but I'm one of those guys. I love taking care of myself mentally, just because you go to the gym and somebody may have big muscles doesn't mean that they're okay. So mental wellness and keeping myself focused, and some tattoos. I love tattoos. So not that I had to bring those up, but just kidding. But yes, ma'am. Just being free and being myself and just relaxing, I care, but I know I have a great team, part of the night crew, so I've learned slowly to detach myself. I used to be one of those guys take homework with me, and and there's certain positions that require that, but I just like to detach and just be okay, enjoy your family. And the way I like to enjoy my family, my drivers need to enjoy their family, and that's why I honor their home time.
So, what keeps you motivated? What is your why?
Always wanting to do better, always wanting some more and more challenges, kind of more of a high stress guy, but you know what? I use that as my fuel to do better and to kick butt out there.
So, if you could just send a message to our drivers and those thinking about joining the MBT family, what do you think that would be?
Trust us, we'll take care of you, give us a chance, and come see our great equipment, come see our nice lanes, the great pay, and all the effort as a family just to bring everybody together.
Yeah. So, going back, you mentioned tattoos. I see the one on your hand that looks pretty new.
Yes,
Is that is that the newest tattoo that
yes,
you
ma'am.
have?
It's about a week old. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of more of my brain's always everywhere. I'm wired like that. So whatever kind of emotion I'm feeling that day, you know what? Close my eyes, put my headphones on. I vent. I vent. That is just my personal, pain is pleasure. But you know what? I walk out of that tattoo parlor feeling many, many pounds lighter. Although I may not look it, but I feel so much emotionally better. So to each their own. Some like going for walks, some like doing other things, reading books. There's so many things you can do just to take care of yourself. So just being okay in your mind is key.
Okay, great. Do you have any final thoughts for people who are listening, maybe drivers or maybe people who are considering working with MBT?
Come see us, come give us a chance. Come see us. We'll do great for you. And if it doesn't work out, hey, you know what? Everybody's different. We'll do our best. And I'm 100% will take care of you. But if it doesn't work, give us a try. If you never tried, then what did you really do?
All
So
right.
I welcome the challenge. Anybody, any situation, bring them. We'll mold them to what we need them to do. And, the sky's the limit with that. We'll take care of you personally. And I mean that from my heart.
Great. All right. Kenneth, thank you so much for
Thank you for
joining
having
us.
me, Ms. Valle. I appreciate
Appreciate
that.
it. So, also, we just want to let you all know that if you're listening and you want to be a part of a company that values excellence, teamwork, and innovation, you can visit m-v-t.com to learn more about joining the MBT family. I'm Stephanie Valle, and until next time, stay safe, stay sharp, and keep on trucking.